Hi, welcome. My name is Victor Florenza. Thank you for watching. Right, let's begin with our very first question. The first question you should be asking yourself in order to know whether the cabin crew role or the cabin crew job is actually the right job for you. Are you willing to live abroad or relocate from your actual place of residence? I think to begin with, that's one of the most important questions you should be asking yourself. The way the aviation industry works, other than apart from being very volatile, especially nowadays during the pandemic or the COVID-19 crisis, is that a lot of airlines may start recruitment soon, and some airlines have already begun recruitment. And so if you're a person that is very homing, you need to be constantly close to your family, your relatives, your friends. I don't think you're going to be enjoying this a lot. Right. Let me explain you why. If you, let's say, were to live in a city, in a given city, and you do have an international airport or an airport close by, and an airline actually flies there, the fact that that airline flies in there does not necessarily mean that that airline is employing cabin crew members at that specific base or that specific airport. There might be another example, would be an airline that employs people, cabin crew members out of that specific airport or base, but perhaps their conditions are not the greatest. So if you're not willing to live abroad or relocate from your actual place of residence, you're gonna miss chances, you're gonna miss opportunities. Other countries may offer you better conditions, especially if those countries are sponsoring you to move to their countries so you can be employed as cabin crew. Or this could happen also within your own country. Perhaps airlines, perhaps not, most likely airlines will have different conditions, different pay agreements, different collective agreements or collective bargaining agreements, etc. And therefore, perhaps within your own country, you should be willing to move from one city to another, because in that other city, there's this other airline that is going to provide you with better conditions. Let's move to the second question. Are you willing to work 365 days a year at any time of the day? And here I would include also the following question. Are you comfortable with unsocial working hours? By asking you these, I don't mean at all that as cabin crew members we get to work 365 days a year. Don't get that wrong. However, you must be available to work 365 days a year. That is, cabin crew members usually fly around Christmas, New Year's Eve, bank holidays, Sundays, etc. So if you come from a Monday to Friday routine job, you need to have this very clear. We work any day of the year at any time of the day. So especially for those cabin crew members that we fly long haul, so long distance flights, you could be, waking up in some part of the world at 2 a.m. in the morning, as per your home clock or your local time back home or local time at destination. So whatever you are resting in a hotel. Even if you were to fly short haul flights, so short flights, domestic flights, depending on, they're called different ways in different countries, but you could be, expected to work during 5 days or 6 days in a row, having very early shifts. So that is perhaps waking as early as 2:30 a.m. in the morning or 3 a.m. in the morning or 4 a.m. in the morning, depending on how far you are from your base, from your reporting place, your reporting airport. You should be absolutely comfortable with having shift work, or shifts at work, and different schedules, different days off. Not all airlines have a fixed pattern. So that means you could be flying 3-4 days in a row and then get to rest 2 days and then fly again. Other airlines will provide you with a better flexible roster. So perhaps you're doing 5 days on, 5 days off, or 5 days on, 3 off, etc. There's a wide variety of systems that help airlines to allow employees to choose. Sometimes you're allowed to choose, sometimes you're not allowed to choose. But definitely, you should be willing to work 365 days a year at any time of the day. Of course, we do have plenty of time off. Of course, we do get holidays, but you should be prepared to work at any time of the day and of the year. Let's move with question number 3. Are you happy to work in a highly regulated environment? Why am I asking you this? Right. As cabin crew members or as part of the crew working for an airline, of course, whilst we are on board the aircraft, we work under a very strict hierarchy. So, the captain would be the first one in command, and then it is followed by pilots, first officers, second officers, relief captains, etc., depending on the names that are given at the airline that you will be working for. And then we do have, of course, someone that is responsible, like lead cabin crew member or a purser or a chief cabin crew member or a senior cabin crew member that is going to take orders from a captain and is going to relay those orders to the rest of the cabin crew members, right? Some other airlines have more hierarchy within the cabin crew services team. Others have strictly just one senior crew member or a lead cabin crew member per flight. But why am I asking you this? This is very important because there's people perhaps because you come from a different background or from a different working environment where hierarchy does not really apply, or it's a very flat hierarchy. Everyone is welcome to say things. Of course, in airlines, everyone's welcome to say things. And in fact, we always encourage everyone to speak up, especially in the interests of safety. But I'm not going to go in there right now. But you should be very comfortable with taking orders from colleagues and following standard operating procedures. Pretty much everything you do, your work is highly regulated. Everything you do from the moment you get on board the aircraft until you leave that aircraft. Whether there's customers on board or not, you will be following procedures, right? It's not really welcome in airlines to have employees that do not follow procedures, because that of course can cause further issues, especially again with safety-related incidents, etc. So yes, you should be comfortable working in a highly regulated environment. Be it taking orders from others, or be it following constantly a set of procedures that are preset for you. And that's, the airline will train you in all this once you get to fly. Right, let's move with question number 4. Are you comfortable working with people from other nationalities? And that is a must. And also I would add the following question. Are you comfortable working in a team environment, right? So you're going to be working together as one team, especially once you get to fly as cabin crew. Everyone is the same. Everyone is trained to do the same, and there's always one main objective, which is of course to make sure the flight is carried out in the safest way possible, and also that customers are constantly happy, or do your very best to make sure customers are always happy, right? Depending on the airline that you fly for and depending on the country in which you're based, etc., you may get to fly with people from everywhere in the world, and that is something you need to take into account. As cabin crew members, we're pretty used, especially nowadays with globalization, to work with people from other cultures. Of course, they may have different beliefs, they may have different religions, they may have different ways of doing, and that is something you need to be very mindful of course, at all times. You're going to be someone that is extremely respectful to others' opinions, etc. So you should definitely be very comfortable working with people from other nationalities, and be very comfortable working as one team whenever you are working as cabin crew. Excellent. We are reaching the end of this questionnaire. Let's go with our 5th and last question. Are you a great customer service professional / brand ambassador? Right. As cabin crew members, of course, we gotta be constantly delivering a great customer service, right? There's many airlines out there, there's many competitors out there for other airlines, and of course, we want to keep our passengers back. We want to keep them happy. We want to make sure they return to our business whenever we are flying for an airline. So we want to make sure really that that person, that customer that is paying in order for the airline to carry that person from one point to another is happy. Right? Of course, there will be times where you will have difficult or challenging situations, but experience will train you, or perhaps your airline has a great training, customer service training that will better prepare you. Not every airline will invest the same in customer service training, but definitely you should be very comfortable providing a great customer service at all times, being always in a happy mood. No matter what you're facing, whether it's delays, disruptions, or changes to your schedule, you should always constantly smile and make sure people are happy at all times. At 40,000 feet or 35,000 feet, you do need people. There are things happening. We could be dealing with first aid incidents. We could be dealing with language barrier with other customers. We could be dealing with special category passengers, so people with reduced mobility. So we got to be there to help at all times. We got to be there to deliver a great customer service to every single customer that is carried on board. If you do fly, of course, for an airline where there is first class, there are planes carry first class cabins or suites or business class cabins. The expectations for you as an employee will be higher than perhaps other airlines. But all in all, you must be comfortable being a great customer service advocate. And what do I mean by being a great brand ambassador? Nowadays, especially with social media in place, it is very easy for the image of an airline to be, let's say, jeopardized or compromised. That would be the best word perhaps to describe it, because everyone carries a mobile phone nowadays. Everyone carries tablets, so it takes just 1 second to picture or video a situation, and there you go. You have the reputation of the airline, of that brand, in social media immediately: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. You do have so many platforms nowadays, and people like to write and they share their experiences, etc. So it is very important that you're very comfortable, with wearing a uniform, constantly wearing that uniform to the highest standards. Of course, your airline will provide you with grooming manuals or grooming training or uniform standards manuals, etc. Right? But you got to be very comfortable being able to, represent that airline that you work for at all times, regardless of what's going on, regardless of how tired you are. Especially sometimes, I don't know. Sometimes we do go to the airport, we take the train, we perhaps go on our own cars, or we take the metro, we take the bus, but you're sitting in uniform, so you must never forget that, everyone is watching, that person is uniformed, it is representing an airline, and therefore you should always be very comfortable, having a uniform on and being a great brand ambassador for the airline that you work for. Right, so we're reaching the end of this small questionnaire, this small presentation. I would say to you, if you have answered yes to to the 5 questions that I've asked you or that I've presented to you, you will have absolutely no problem in order to become an excellent cabin crew member in the future. If you have answered no to 1, I don't think it's a problem either. I think, experience can train you to, or the airlines will train you, they'll provide you with enough training in order for you to carry out your job to the highest possible standards. But if you have answered no to all of them, I don't think this job is the right job for you. To conclude, I do hope you enjoyed this video, this presentation. The questions that I have gathered for the purposes of presenting you with this video on YouTube have been done or have been collected from my own experience, 14 years within the aviation industry, and I have worked for 3 international airlines, and I have been living in different cities of the world. From my own experience, I'd say these 5 questions that I have asked you in this video are the main ones perhaps that you should have, you should be very clear about before attempting to apply for a cabin crew role. In any case, I hope you have found this video useful, and I thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you very soon online.